Thank you so much for joining us for Talks with Tyler ISD. I'm your host, Jennifer Hines, and this time we have with us the Director of Visual and Performing Arts, Sandra Newton. Thank you so much for joining us. I can't wait to talk about this because I love the arts. I have a true passion for it myself, and I know you do as well. You started very young. I mean, at the age of 5, I understand, at least with piano.
Yes, I played the piano and have sung in choir since I was old enough to talk. Taught theater, many degrees, college degrees in a variety of the arts. Yes, I love the arts. It's a true passion.
And originally, my understanding is you went to school to be an accountant, and here you are today doing something you probably are much more passionate about.
Oh, absolutely. So I had sung and played the piano and acted and certainly have no fear of public speaking. And, you know, parents say, how are you ever going to make a real living with an art degree, right? So they said, how about accounting? You're very good at math. And I said, okay. So I did accounting for a little while, and I felt like I was good at it, but making myself do it was a whole nother thing.
Right.
I have great respect for all accountants out there.
Absolutely. But it just wasn't for you.
No, finally I gave in and I got the art degree. So my undergraduate degree is in art and early childhood education. And I knew really quickly once I got into education that in my future, I wanted to be specifically the fine arts director in Tyler ISD. So 30 years ago plus, I went to my music professor at UT Tyler, Dr. Allen, bless him, and said, I would like to get this master's degree in art, music, and theater. And he said, well, we don't offer that. And I said, well, can we figure out a way to do that? So he helped me write my own degree plan for this job.
I love it.
So God willing, he put this in my path, and here we are now, and I've got my dream job.
30 years later, and
yes.
Your path has taken you all over the place, including Italy. You spent some time in Italy.
Mm-hmm. I was an art student in Italy. I was an Eisenhower scholar and got to study art in Italy. That was fantastic.
And then you're also a Marcus Fellow, I understand, at UNT. So, you've got these fabulous credentials that people probably don't even realize your background and everything that you've been able to do.
Well, I feel really blessed. You know, I've been blessed with some really incredible opportunities. I was a Marcus Fellow, one of 5 that's selected nationally at the University of North Texas. That's where I got my second master's in arts education. I've just been very, very fortunate, but I've always deeply cared about the East Texas area, even though I lived in Houston for 16 years after getting married, because, you know, marriage takes you everywhere.
It sure does.
I have held offices with the Texas Art Education Association and asked, can I please represent Region 7? I know I don't live there, but I care so much about that area. So I was the Region 7 representative, even though I didn't live here. And then I got to move back home, continued to be Region 7 rep. Now I'm on the council at large, and I represent for the Texas Art Education Association, the administrative division chair for the state of Texas. So I love this area.
And what I am hearing from you is that it was arts and education together from the very beginning when you started, when you switched over from accounting, and you've got this fabulous decorated professional background. And so does the district. I mean, the district has really, over the past, couple of decades, just risen to the top when it comes to the visual and performing arts. I mean, you cannot find another district that has everything that we have here. For miles. I mean, all of East Texas, it's not there. Tell us a little bit about some of the things that the district is doing. We've gotten several awards recently for the visual and performing arts programs we have.
So Tyler ISD, my mind is just swimming with so many different things.
Because there are so many.
There are so many. And Tyler ISD has, and I use this word, robust. The arts programming in Tyler ISD is so extensive and so robust that we are able to develop such strong students and approaches in the arts. I mean, there's no way any other area, district or school, and I hate to say it in this area, I'm partial. I love this area, but Tyler is just, they've got it going on.
Right.
Back-to-back District of Distinctions for the Texas Art Education Association. That puts us in the top 4% in the state for visual arts education.
4%. I mean, that says something right there. Because that's statewide, not just regional.
No. We also received the national recognition from the National Association of Music Merchants for Best Communities for Music Education back to back for the last couple years. That's on a district-wide level. There's also so many accolades that individual programs have received. Noah Nunez is a trumpet player for the Legacy Band. He was just selected to the All-State Band. Just to give you some perspective on what that means, more than 70,000 students across the state of Texas auditioned to be a part of that all-state band with the Texas Music Educators Association. And only 1,800 are picked. And that's not just the band. Only 1,800 are picked for 18 ensembles that include band ensembles, orchestra ensembles, and vocal ensembles. So for us to have, and that's not Legacy's first either. They have a great reputation of having multiple students selected to be a part of the TMEA All-State Band. So congratulations to Noah and the directors over there. They do a fantastic job.
That's wonderful.
Lizzie Tucker was a theater kid over there. Love her. We saw her in Thoroughly Modern Millie. My son genuinely believed she was Millie.
I love it.
Called her Millie, looked up to Millie. She's at Texas State now getting a theater degree. I mean, the list goes on and on. There's Renee, who was a drum major for the band at Tyler High School, who's now at UNT, which has got a great reputation for music.
Yes.
Studying Japanese and music, hopes to teach music in Japan.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty impressive.
That is really cool. Talking about taking your skills globally with going all the way over to Japan. And I know that Tyler High School, they actually have had some great success with their band recently.
Yes. So in 2018, their marching program received straight ones at the UIL marching contest, which hadn't happened in 34 years.
Wow.
And they repeated it in 2019. So it wasn't just a fluke. They're really good. So they got it 2 years in a row. Their concert and sight reading evaluation for the first time in the school's history, they got straight one sweepstakes in that. So, the programs are great. They're doing a really great job. The visual arts, they have their numbers of state contending pieces are growing each year. Mm-hmm. When I got here, I said, I want us to have a bus. I want us to have to take a bus to State Base. And we did not last year because it was virtual, but the year before. I mean, it was...
That's fabulous.
It's all because of the hard work of the teachers. They have vision.
It does. It comes back to the teachers. We have the staff to support all of this, which is amazing.
And the district and the school board, they understand the significance of the arts, and they really support them.
Well, the awards are impressive, and we have the fabulous teachers, and now we really have the facilities to go along with it. I mean, just gorgeous facilities that really take it to the next level for our students.
Mm-hmm. Our facilities are outstanding. When we have people come and visit us from not just the East Texas area, from across the state for meetings or competitions or professional learning opportunities that are provided to teachers, and they see the facilities that we get to work with, they take pictures and take it back to their district and say, why can't we do this? Because they are just phenomenal. And the two high schools are beautiful and the facilities are outstanding, but all of our the middle schools have great facilities, black box theaters. I mean, they're fully prepared so that when they get to that beautiful new high school, they've worked with that equipment. Even in our elementaries, there's stages and sound systems and I mean, they're prepared.
It's kind of really creating that tunnel. And I know at the high schools, maybe expand a little bit on what they have. I mean, there are rooms for dance. There are rooms for band practice. There are rooms for those ensembles that you mentioned earlier, where you do need to break off and have, a group of 4, or maybe a soloist needs to go and work in a soundproof room on their solo. Those facilities are there.
Oh, absolutely. So we are in the process right now of planning to host the concert and sight reading evaluation for its UIL for orchestra at Tyler High School. And when I was on the phone with their director, I said, "What rooms have you reserved?" And he said, "Well, I've got so many. Where do I start?" Because when you host something like that and the visiting campuses come, they have to have holding areas and practice and warm up and instrument. There's so much space there and efficiently used space. So there's practice facilities, there's practice rooms for ensembles and individual students to go in and practice. Beautiful, huge band rooms and orchestra rooms and choir rooms. Art rooms, visual art rooms that are beautiful with kiln, brand new. They can be virtually monitored for safety kilns in those rooms.
Wow.
The dance spaces are giant with beautiful, appropriate flooring in them to keep the kids safe. I mean, it is just, they're beautiful.
It's wonderful to have these new facilities. I was reading through all of the different things the other day, and one of my favorites was the fact that they have a whole room just to build the sets for the productions that they're going to put on. So talk about taking those productions to the next level, not only with the acting on stage, but the lighting and the AV equipment and the areas to build the sets, all of it just coming together.
Well, it's funny, as you were saying that, I thought, and I didn't even touch on theater. Tyler High School,
yes,
has a beautiful new theater that has a catwalk in it. So not only are you able to teach the kids about what it is to be on stage and perform, but in the sound booth, and they can teach the technical aspects of theater and how to control the lighting and how to control the sound. There's a load-in dock that's just right there off the wings of the theater so that they can very efficiently and effectively load in. We just hosted middle school one-act play over there, and I loved sitting back and listening to everyone go, "Whoa, this is really nice.
Yeah.
Wow, you get to work in this every day. Wow, this is really great." And Legacy had the same updates that happened to their campus too, with new sound equipment, new lighting, updated facilities. I mean, I can't say enough positive things about the facilities that the fine arts get to work with.
It's absolutely amazing. And then also kind of off of that, talking about the high school programming, Tyler is really committed, the school board, the district, to creating that true funnel all the way to the high school level, with Caldwell Arts Academy now being K through 8. That magnet school, which is wonderful. And what I like about it is it's not just for Tyler ISD students. If you're living anywhere in East Texas and you want to go to Caldwell Arts Academy, and if you apply and get in, you can go there. I mean, that itself is a wonderful opportunity to have that magnet opportunity for really anybody that wants to apply and get in.
Yes, Caldwell is definitely a jewel in East Texas. I have had the pleasure of watching students really blossom in that. I don't even know what to call it. It's such a unique experience over there. It's beautiful. There are Jabrin is a student that's over there, and I have watched him grow both theatrically, musically. He's got some visual art that's on display over at the admin building right now that is, you walk in and you have to pick your jaw up when you see it.
And you're like, this is the work of somebody that's in high school or college.
He could teach me a thing or two.
Right.
Yes. So,
that.
Beautiful. Alexa is another student over there. I've watched her grow. She's been there since second grade. She's a force to be reckoned with too. And to see not only that we have these really robust programs in our traditional setting, but to have this opportunity for students who need that atmosphere to dive deeper into those fine arts and more exposure to the fine arts, for that venue to be here and to be such a positive, successful experience where they do it right, that's incredible.
Well, and what I love too about it is that we have the support not only of the district and the school board, but also the community. I know that there were students from Caldwell that were working on the mural for Art Alley with the city. And then we've got the Women's Fund that helped with the kiln lab over there. And then Group M7 has come in with lots of technology to help with the digital arts portion. So you really do have these companies coming in and supporting, and the community being able to come in. And then of course, Caldwell Auditorium having that as an opportunity to be able to work on that stage and then learn all of the inner workings around that stage, just like you do at both of the high schools. That just prepares those students to go into that next level at high school.
Well, and that's what you really kind of need in a facility like that. They have a fantastic leader over there who does a great job of working with the community. Bobby Markle is exceptional. And you need that community involvement because you have students there who are at this place where they're hungry for more. And if you have that really strong community involvement, they can fulfill or somewhat satiate that need for more. So yes, the community is great. And I do love, you mentioned earlier that you don't have to be a Tyler ISD student to go to Caldwell.
No, you don't.
You can be out of the district and go. And that's, as someone who's so passionate about the arts, to know that opportunity is there for kids in this area, I'm so thankful.
Absolutely. It's wonderful to be able to offer that access to any child that wants to go through the audition process and make it through that to be a part of that program. That's absolutely wonderful. Now, of course, we're talking about the arts, and a lot of people are like, oh, that's the arts, that's extracurricular. No, actually, it's not. The arts are an academic. They have TEKS.
We have TEKS. We do have TEKS and national standards. So when a art teacher or a music teacher or a theater or dance teacher goes into a classroom, they have state mandated things that they have to teach in specific courses. So just like any other course, there's requirements.
Absolutely. And not only do they have those requirements in that class, but what they are doing in the arts, it really does kind of help increase learning across the board. I mean, I know that a lot of people have heard about how playing a musical instrument can help with your mathematics. I mean, it's all kind of intertwined, how it all works. I mean, history, art is a reflection of history. It really just all kind of works together, and it helps you to be able to become more rounded as well.
Yes. So this is one of those things that I will preach to anyone who will listen, because it's so true. And that's one of the beauties of Tyler ISD is that they get it. You know, they understand.
They understand the importance.
So when I was thinking about this, there is a study that was done in 2019 in the Houston area of the casual effects of fine arts education on students. It was a very, very, very large study. And I have several bullet points here that they came up with things that they had found to be a positive effect of fine arts education. It helps students understand difficult concepts easier. It kept students coming to school. It taught leadership skills. It taught, I mean, I'm trying to remember them all. I mean, literally, I could go on and on and on. Improve student cognition, critical thinking skills, communication skills, listening skills, leadership skills, problem solving skills, self-confidence.
Absolutely. I think that's a big one, is when you find something that you're good at, you can become confident in that. And maybe you aren't as strong academically, but then all of a sudden you start becoming strong academically because your confidence in your visual and performing arts class, like you get that confidence, and then therefore you become more confident in the other. And you do, you have that love for school because of this class, and then it kind of trickles over. It can't help but trickle over into the other subjects and really just make the whole experience better as opposed to if just having that void.
Exactly. So you become more confident in who you are and your choices, and you'll take a risk. And when you take that risk, then you end up winning. It's a winning situation for all involved. And it also helps you get a more global view. So if you're studying, no matter what art it is, whether it's theater, dance, or music, or visual art, you're going to get a more global view of things, and you're going to come at problems differently because you're going to think just a little bit differently. It's going to really make the child have more successful student outcomes.
Yes, absolutely. It's going to expand their perspective.
Absolutely.
Thinking about things differently, definitely outside of the box. And some of this, of course, talking about successful student outcomes is beginning with the end in mind. And we have students that have gone on and gotten scholarships to go to college for their work in visual and performing arts. And we have crafted and created these artists, working with the teachers and the students to make sure that they have not only the teachers to support them, but now the facilities and the programming. It all works together, the support of the school and the community, to lift up these students in these different areas.
Absolutely. I don't know how to say that any better than what you just said it. I mean, that was perfect. It's true. The arts will help students get where they need to be. They'll help them make connections to school and to the other disciplines. So arts are just a win-win for all.
And this is the month that we're celebrating.
Yes.
It's Youth Art Month. Tell us a little bit about that. We also recently celebrated Big Art Day, and we did have schools all across the district participate in this.
So the Texas Art Education Association came up with or we like to say TAEA because that's a big mouthful. Came up with a day, Big Art Day, as an advocacy day for the arts. And schools and classrooms all over the state of Texas, and really it's grown beyond Texas, do something special in their classroom. It could be something small. It could be something big, to really celebrate visual arts role in education. Caldwell had an incredibly cool program that they did. Given our current situation, they took disposable masks and decorated them and then made chandeliers out of those masks. They're beautiful. It doesn't sound like, but they are really, you would never know they were masks.
It's taking something that's kind of ordinary or something that's reflective of our point in history,
yes,
going back to, art reflects history, of the historic time that we're in right now, and then creating something beautiful, a chandelier out of it. Who would have thought that? But again, it's changing that perspective and taking the ordinary and making it unordinary and something beautiful and artistic.
Those are really, really neat. And beautiful to see.
Yes.
So that's what Big Art Day is. It's an arts advocacy day to celebrate the arts. And then March is Youth Art Month. And so at the State Capitol building in Austin, there is a art exhibit that then moves over to the Bob Bullock building, and it's on display for the month of March. And Tyler ISD actually was lucky enough to have 2 pieces selected this year. There were only 125 pieces selected.
From all the students across the state. So, that is, oh, wow. So that is a huge, that's millions of students.
Yes. So all the students, K-12, all across Texas, only 125 pieces were selected. Tyler had 2. And I will say we have had at least 1 piece in that exhibit for the last 4 years.
Oh, wow.
So that's a pretty big deal. There were larger districts that didn't have any selected. So I'm pretty thankful for that. That is currently still on exhibit at the Bob Bullock building. You can go check that out. So there's all kinds of efforts across Texas to really celebrate the arts and appreciate the arts. And those are just 2 examples.
And we had talked earlier about regional competitions and that sort of thing. I mean, this is a perfect example of kind of competing on the state level and even the national level, where we are taking those opportunities and submitting the artwork or submitting those performances to make sure that the students can perform on that bigger stage, so to speak.
Well, I've always cared about ETX. I mean, that's home. My dad was military. We moved everywhere, but I got to live in Tyler, Texas longer than I got to live anywhere else. So this is home. So when I see the kids, I always knew about the greatness that was here. And when I see the kids have an opportunity to share that greatness with the rest of the Texas, the country, the world, it just makes my heart smile because there is so much greatness right here.
And we are actually attracting a lot of people here. We're in the middle of contest season, and you were just mentioning that we are hosting a lot of those contests for the region.
So yes, we host VASE, which is the Visual Arts Scholastic event. We host Junior VASE, which is the middle school version. VASE is for the high school. Junior VASE is middle school. Team is for the elementary. Now that we have these beautiful new facilities in the high school, we're able to host many of the UIL competitions. We're hosting, as I mentioned earlier, the UIL orchestra concert and sight reading evaluation, and hopefully many more. A one-act play, middle school one-act play we just hosted. We did host the East Texas Honors Orchestra Clinic and Concert. That was a really, really cool thing. I mean, that's just the best word to use. And hope to do many, many more. I'm so proud of what's here and thankful to our community for those facilities. So yeah, we're getting to do a whole lot more of that.
Yeah, it really is impressive. And kind of to talk about it again, I know we talked about the high schools and we talked about Caldwell, but again, I mean, all of our facilities, black box theaters at the middle schools, I remember when I went and toured one of the middle schools with my daughter, I saw the graphic arts class at the 8th grade level, and I was just blown away that 8th graders were making these projects. I mean, it was phenomenal to see. So it's not just one particular school. All of our comprehensive schools also have robust arts programs, which is really, really cool.
They do. They have full band programs, full choir programs, full orchestra programs, theater programs, visual arts programs, digital arts programs, dance programs, not only at the high school, but at the middle school also. So you're going to get, no matter what school you pick to go to, you're going to get quality arts programming. It's going to happen.
And you're going to have access to it, which is something that not everybody has access to. So that's one of the wonderful things about Tyler ISD is having not only the access, but then it's access to such a great program.
Absolutely.
For the parents or the students or just the community members that are out there listening to this podcast right now, what is it that you would like to share with them? Maybe a parent that's considering about sending their child to a school that's looking at the arts, that is wanting that component as a part of their child's education.
Well, I'm biased. I am a mom, and I have twins that are in Tyler ISD schools, and I wouldn't put them anyplace else. There is no way, I've said this before, that any school or district due to our size and what we can offer can really offer the level of programming that we have here in Tyler. We have such strong programs with strong teachers leading them, with opportunities to give to your students, and a board that supports us, that there's really no choice as far as I'm concerned, because Tyler has so much to offer.
Well, thank you for giving us an overview and a glimpse into the world of the visual and performing arts that Tyler ISD has to offer. We really appreciate your time this morning, Sandra Newton. Thank you for joining us. And if you're at home listening, we hope that you share this with your friends and with your family. And of course, always subscribe to Apple Podcast or also Spotify, and you can get all of these episodes, this one and more. Until next time, we hope that you have a great day.